Ram Hope is a little bit stressed right now. Okay, he was very stressed right now. He thought that the task might challenge him, but now a situation arises, and he realizes that he is far beyond his abilities. Being in a role beyond their capabilities is a surefire way to get demoted to billing manager. He had to maintain balance and rationality, but he couldn't help you tremble. When he first received an official announcement, he thought it was a member of the Industry and Development Office. It made sense at the time, as it was centuries ago, as the planet was ready for the next stage of development, but bureaucracy tends to delay processes, so only then is it the norm for them to come, albeit a little early. However, the sender, his good friend Osiris, added his ceremonial attire as a footnote. Ram thanked his friend for his foresight, as he would not have guessed that he should have done so when he had been informed of his visitor. Their character of their galaxy officials to achieve. The human room is a good trip, but it is too long for most people. Therefore, one was never seen here until now. People were not exactly new, but they were not old either. They just never dared to go much beyond their empire for reasons that only the divinities knew. So one of those who come to this particular planet is a surprise from the depths of Trickster's mind. This world has not yet been industrialized, nothing is worth noting, and none of the riches are turning to the eyes of Ram. Sand, mountains, and oasis were a bad vision of an industrialized society, but Ram Hood was not an ambassador or noble. He would not know what human dignity seeks. He still remembers trying to guess what role he was about to play. Will they become diplomats? Will they become ambassadors, ministers, or marshals? Although the ship that stopped at the bay had a conventional lining, Ram Hudep was waiting at the post-access point, but most VIPs chose a private cross, which the lower garrison officials couldn't carry. Such luxury goods can be the bureaucrat, he told him. Oh, his fault. The man who left the ship surprised him with the shell. It took every bit of discipline to keep his knees from buckling beneath him. The man was dressed in the softest, most colorful clothing he had ever seen. That certainly made them kings. He did his best to wear his belongings, but they looked at him, and he knew he could still not deceive them. When people approach him, he tries to maintain professionalism. When the monarchs stopped before him, they effortlessly dropped their heavy luggage with a thud to the floor. Ram Hop greeted them deeply. Welcome to the Pharaoh's new kingdom of Akir 96. My council has been notified of your arrival, so I'm here to help. If you want, he will leave the introduction because he does not know human customs. So the best thing is that the next thing is his name. It's so great here. I can't wait to see what you think of the apparently kind act. It made Ram Hotep uncomfortable, but he soldiered on. Unfortunately, we are still building the infrastructure. Then you have to forgive the fact that you can't travel the way you want. He knew they definitely felt. His sword skills are not as complicated as people think. No problem. I just needed a quiet place to be with nature. The people's royal speech was strangely muffled, as they didn't look weakened in any way. There was a drawl that almost felt like a deliberate return to my roots. You know, the idioms they used were as unfamiliar to him as anyone else. So from the words, Ram Hope guessed that they would have a secluded place to stay. Away from the crowds, we had some accommodations upriver if you wanted, a bit far from the populated areas but fully equipped. Damn cradle for me. It was crazy. They captured the effect of saying, as long as you are all very nice, I will not participate. I will find a rather nice place to live as you wish. Please come this way. Ram Hotep still didn't understand idioms, but he guessed so much he could do from what he did. This inability could affect the relationship between the two species, as Ram Hot believed that his kitten softened because of stress. He wasn't sure when they left. Whether human monarchs fall or not, the way they sway and swing like springs is deceptive. No part of the human body looks straight or rigid. It was a creation of curves that flowed like a river through the sand. Ram Hope couldn't wrap their heads around how their center of gravity worked because it was going to change so much. His man will be as much of a step as people. He wanted to know that they were so strong and so soft. Oh, how strange their world should be. You are Scarab, the guy I've thought of. They asked with interest, and Hoyp shook his shell under his robes in gratitude that it helped to hide his emotions to ask away honored. He honestly wanted to. They would ask for nothing but the management of the settlement. However, reality puts him at a disadvantage. Only colonial supervisors can know everything, but you have not yet been appointed. However, he was ready for this question. Why are you the only person dressed in clothing? Is it a question of culture or love? Remhotep looked at them for a moment, then resumed his professional demeanor. He decided to give them a textbook answer. Whatever these two concepts had to do with his clothing, he had no idea that textiles were hard to come by for expensive customers. So only the richest can afford its price, and I assume you have a better chance of getting it. Then the human monarchs double, with twice as many of their own rulers. We many guys do crazy whatever the situation is. Sometimes they giggle in motion. Transportation of heavy luggage. So what is your business? Forgive me, tears. Do you not understand what the ruler means? Is there something that belongs to him? Does he like it? Do you have to follow me everywhere, or do you have to be on the desk? I can ask for clarification. Ramhotep is hesitating under normal circumstances. He would have followed. After all, it was polite. But he didn't want to panic about not being able to complete the task he thought was coming. He knew he couldn't answer the questions that were sure to come up later. If he has no answer, he chooses the best solution and looks for it. Unfortunately, I don't have to work much. It's a lie. All his work is done. He simply did not qualify for the one who followed and would no longer be here. Therefore, if you need it, I will play this complex at the time he is finished, and at the same time we're an office building. The human king pointed a thumb to the sky. All right, man, see you whenever they wave back as they make their way towards the coastal wilderness. When the humans disappeared, a wrong thought crossed Ramhotep's mind. If they discovered resources after exploration that he didn't know about, it would be bad because he would have to explain to the council why they didn't exist. During the report, Ramhotep was still so nervous that he burst out of his shell. He looked at the place where the human monarch was just now. Why was it the ruler who came instead of every other official? He didn't know what they were looking for. He didn't know why they had come so far if they could probably find whatever they were searching for elsewhere. He didn't /T know. He hated not knowing when he should know. Unfortunately, fate saw it as a way to put him in a place where he couldn't feel his chitis shell for reassurance. It did not help. The give it had from his touch was too much, an indication of how anxious he was. Having a soft shell was never good. Ram prayed to every god. He knew that the king of men must not find anything worthwhile and not be disappointed, or he might really lose his shell. Lewis loved this place. He saved a lot of money to come to this oasis world. He didn't want to be disturbed by other people while on vacation, so he found a virgin world far enough away where he could relax. Almost a virgin land. According to the guide, it is under development. Still, it's beautiful. Nature had the kind of charm that really made him free from any burden. Well, it and the weed he brought with it don't matter while mounting his tent under the wooden line. He recalled the species that claimed this planet. It was still a bit weird that they went buck naked, but he gathers he'll get used to it in no time, especially since they were so polite. No one bothered him. When he asked the guide, they answered his questions without problem and respected his choice. He did not bother him on his journey just to earn more money from him. It is unbelievable. Lewis's customer service ended with his beach lounge, chair, and umbrella near the waves. The breeze here was so pleasant and rich with the scent of the ocean. He could feel the Hawaiian shirt flapping around him and the light-colored swimming trunks he'd put on that morning before stepping off the line like a flag flapping around his legs. Lou sat down on the chair with a satisfied grunt. He closed his eyes and thought to himself that he could probably bring some of his friends with him next time. Then they would feel better, not turn into a naturist beach, and have a little laugh. He put his broad-brimmed hat on his face, took a deep breath of fresh air, and happily turned to his side. Life in heaven is beautiful.